Hey everybody, listen, I hope you had a chance to make church services this past weekend. Some very exciting things happened, including the total reveal for our second harvest food drive. We made our goal. Over 1 million meals worth of food and funds were collected. And listen, I just want to say a heartfelt word of gratitude to you for glorifying God. You know, Jesus said that when we let our light shine, people will see our good deeds and glorify our Father who is in heaven. I can't tell you how many times people have told me, "Oh, Twin Lakes, you're that church that does all those great things for the community." What a wonderful thing to be known for. What a Christian thing to be known for. It's something that Jesus asked us to be known for. Well, last weekend I told the story of Zechariah, who couldn't speak for 9 months until his son John was born. And then he can suddenly talk and he just erupts with this joyful song of praise to God. And that reminded me of how I just learned that Maya Angelou, despite her extraordinary gift of language, did not speak for 5 years. When she was a child, from age 8 to age 13. She had a horrible trauma when she was 8 years old, and she just stopped talking for 5 years. She was depressed, she was withdrawn, but she was obsessed with reading, especially poetry. And it was a local teacher, a woman named Bertha Flowers, who helped Maya Angelou regain her voice by challenging her to read that poetry she'd been reading out loud. Her teacher challenged her. She said, "You don't love poetry, not until you speak it." And at first she resisted, but ultimately, of course, she uttered the words from a book of poetry, and she heard the poems come alive from her own lips, and she began speaking again. Well, first of all, that's a really inspiring story of how you can influence people, you can change people's lives with your encouragement. But second, of course, it reminds me of Zechariah, who for months apparently read the prophets' poetry. And when he could finally speak, he explodes with poetry of his own that we studied this past weekend in church. And my prayer is that sometime this Christmas season, that would happen to you. That, as Paul says in Ephesians 3, he says, "I pray that you, being rooted and grounded in love, would have power together with all the saints to grasp how long and wide and high and deep is the love of Christ, and to know this love that surpasses knowledge, that you may be filled up with all the fullness of God." I pray that you would find your voice, a voice of praise this Christmas, that there's some point this Christmas where you're overwhelmed. Maybe if you're driving, you just have to pull over, or if you're at home at church, you just start to weep with joy because you realize what God came to do for you. May you find your voice of praise. God bless you. Thanks again, and have a great day.